This video was brought to you by Blinkist. Hello friends, my name is JJ, and it is time for another entry in my award-winning series, Flag Mysteries. Is that what I called it? It's been a while since I've done one. Anyway, the way that it works is that you guys send me photos of mysterious flags that you've encountered in the wild, and I use my skills as an internet sleuth and noted flagspert to crack the riddle. Ready? Let's go. So let us get started with this number, sent by my friend Spencer. Spencer says he was driving through the city of Amarillo, Texas, when he saw a flag depicting what he described as a cartoon bear on a light blue background flying over a residential house just under the American flag. Since the photos are not super clear, he did a little mock-up in Photoshop, which you can see here. He tried doing a reverse Google image search, but no luck. Maybe your wealth of flag knowledge can help, he says. Well, thank you, Spencer. So my first thought when I saw these photos is that the bear is very slick and geometric in design and looks much more like some sort of corporate logo than something you would expect to see on a flag associated with a place or cause. So while I think Spencer had the right idea of doing a reverse image search, I would ignore the flag and instead focus on the logo itself. So I tried making my own mock-up of the bear, putting a greater emphasis on its weird shape-based design, which I think will be critical in getting Google to properly ID it. Aha! Success! So, according to sportslogos.com, this is apparently the logo of the Chicago Cubs baseball squadron. I mean, I think these days most baseball fans would associate the Cubs logo as being one of these big C-based things, which is, in fact, their most historic symbol. But apparently, during the 60s and 70s, they briefly experimented with using this bear face logo instead. And since no logo, no matter how failed, ever truly dies in professional sports, the bear face still has some resonance with Cubs fans today, even ones living all of the way in Amarillo, Texas. Flag mystery solved. All right, and now we have another photo, also from Texas, from my friend Carlos. It appears to depict a bunch of flags outside of a hotel or something, and Carlos is confused by this flag here. So this suite of flags is quite a common scene in Texas. It depicts the 6 flags of the 6 countries that have historically ruled the state: Spain, France, Mexico, the Republic of Texas, the Confederacy, and the USA. This is actually what the Six Flags theme park chain, which started in Texas, is named after. But what about the 7th flag, you cry? Well, my guess is that this is just the flag of the particular city where this hotel is. So let's take a look. The hotel is called La Posada, and it is apparently in Laredo, Texas. And yes, indeed. So the history of this flag is quite interesting. The traditional story is that Texas separated from Mexico in the 1830s in response to the dictatorship of Santa Anna, who wanted to consolidate all power in himself and the Mexican national government while stripping the powers of the Mexican states. But apparently, Texas wasn't the only Mexican state that rebelled against him. The states of Coahuila, Nuevo León, and Tamaulipas revolted as well, and in 1840 proclaimed themselves the Republic of the Rio Grande, with this flag featuring 3 stars representing the 3 states. Forces loyal to Santa Anna crushed the Republic after just 10 months, but then the United States later annexed the northern part of the state of Tamaulipas during the subsequent Mexican-American War, and that is where the modern-day Texas city of Laredo is located, and the Laredans have continued flying this flag to keep the memory of the Rio Grande Republic alive. Flag mystery solved. All right, we are making good progress here, aren't we? Learning is fun, isn't it? And since we are all learning lovers here, I hope you will now permit me to take a moment to talk about today's video sponsor, the wonderful educational app, Blinkist. Hello friends! So yes, it is true, this video was once again brought to you by Blinkist, a very cool app that gives you access to condensed versions of some of the world's most popular books. These little recaps are available either in written or audio form, making their content easy to access no matter your platform of choice, with most taking about 15 minutes to get through. This is an incredibly helpful app that's useful in all sorts of different circumstances. Not only is it a good way to get the gist of a book in a hurry, it is also a great way to get a sense if you are interested in a book before buying it, and it is obviously a great study aid for students and researchers, given they have books in basically every subject you could imagine. I was recently listening to 2 Blinkist summaries of books I've been hearing a lot about in the news recently. Myth America by Julian Zalazar and Kevin Cruz, which aims to deconstruct various patriotic fables about the United States, and The Weirdest People in the World by Joseph Henrich, which is a book positing a theory about the unique success of the so-called Western educated, industrialized, rich democratic countries. This was a great example of using Blinkist as a sort of shortcut hack to get at some of the big insights of two books I might not have otherwise read at all. Anyway, if you sign up using the link in the thing below, you can get 20% off Blinkist Premium. Not sure if it's right for you? Why not try their 7-day free trial? And the other thing they're really pushing right now is what they call Blinkist Connect, which is how you get to share your Blinkist Premium account with one other person. So basically, if you sign up today, you will get 2 accounts for the price of 1. Blinkist, more knowledge in less time. Okay, so here's a photo from a friend in Brazil who says, I saw this flag on the wall of my history class and I have no idea where it's from. I looked at so many flag sites and I still couldn't find it. All right, so the wheel that we see on this flag is what they call the Wheel of Dharma. It is an ancient symbol associated with Eastern mythology that has been embraced by several different religions, including Buddhism and Hinduism. A search for Dharma on the website Flags of the World, which is my favorite online Flagslopedia, yields this flag, the flag of the Indian state of Sikkim, which is a tiny place located right here, right between the nations of Nepal and Bhutan. This is a very Buddhist part of the world, and it is here where most of India's small Buddhist community can be found. Which makes their use of the wheel on this flag kind of interesting, because while in this context it is obviously supposed to represent Buddhism, almost anywhere else in India, the Dharma wheel would be used to represent Hinduism, as it is on the flag of India itself. Now, why the flag of this obscure Indian state wound up in what appears to be a generic collection of world flags in a Brazilian classroom, I do not know. Okay, next we have a flag from my friend Hayden, who sends me this photo and says, I'm a student at American University in Washington, D.C., and I found this flag hung on the window of an undergraduate residence hall next to what appears to be a Miller Lite flag and a good old American flag. Students at American University tend to be pretty generic in their interests. We have a lot of political science and international relations students, so flags of various student and advocacy organizations are fairly common, but this one has been bugging me ever since I came across it. So this looks to be a flag featuring some sort of map, some sort of country or something that's missing a big chunk of territory right in the middle. This struck me as another case where reverse Googling might be helpful, so I extracted the map shape and created a high contrast version, and then plugged that into the Googs, and success! According to an artist named Lucy Rollins, who has done a picture of the place that evidently most closely resembles the silhouette I made, this is a map of a place called Block Island, which sounds like a Mario level, but is actually a tiny American island off the coast of Manhattan that is part of Rhode Island. And it goes like this, not this. People apparently often compare its shape to a pork chop. According to the official Rhode Island tourism website, Block Island sounds like a bit of a tourist trap, one of those quaint little islands full of aging hippies that you have to take a ferry to visit and vows to offer an ideal weekend or longer getaway for anyone who's looking to spend their time eating good seafood, enjoying the fresh air, and or searching for the perfect memento. A memento like, say, a Block Island flag from the Block Island Trading Company. Flag mystery solved. Next up, we have a very mysterious flag with a very intriguing story from my friend Jack. He says, I saw this flag in a Universalist church in the Philly area. It was featured on a bulletin board with flags and languages. The word next to it was hey, and this was the flag featured. This story is a little short on details, but if I am understanding Jack correctly, it sounds like this flag was part of some sort of educational display explaining how to say different things in different languages. My guess is that it is a Native American flag because it appears to have a turtle on it, and I know that the turtle is a fairly sacred animal to a lot of Native American nations. It would make sense from a political perspective as well, because I could imagine that a Universalist type church would be progressive enough to want to acknowledge Native American languages in addition to the other ones. So I must confess, however, that I am not super familiar with the First Nations of Philadelphia, but if I Google the topic, I get this article from the American Library Association, which also features this promising logo from the Delaware Tribe of Indians, which has a turtle not unlike the one on the flag. The article says that the major nation of the Philadelphia area is the Lenape, who are also known as the Delaware, hence the Delaware Tribe. This is very obviously a colonialist name, since as we learned from one of my recent award-winning shorts, the state of Delaware is not actually named after the Indians, but rather Lord Lord Delaware, the first governor of Virginia. But anyway, Lenape flag. Is this it? It is! Flag mystery solved. Pretty pleased with how I was able to crack that one. Let's do another. So my friend Mark sends me a link to this YouTube video and says, "Hey JJ, do you know what the flags in this video are? Merry Christmas, Mark." Clearly I need to be a little bit more timely with these videos. So this YouTube clip is called "Russian Expats in Serbia Protest Ukraine War," which gives us a sense of the politics of the group. And you can see that they are flying these distinctive white flags with a blue or red stripe in the middle. So the blue one, I actually just know because it has been in the news from time to time since the Ukraine war began. Basically, there is a popular cliche in Russia that the bottom third of the Russian flag represents a sea of blood. So when you get rid of the blood, you've created a flag of peace. Get it? The Russian flag with no red has accordingly become a popular symbol associated with the anti-war sentiment in that country, or I suppose anti-war sentiment among Russians living in countries where opposing the war is more legally permissible. Since this particular protest is happening in Serbia, you might assume that this second flag has something to do with that country, but it is actually the old flag of Belarus, a country that has been allied with Russia during the war. Belarus declared independence from Russia in 1918 and briefly tried to function as a separate country before being incorporated into the Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union in turn collapsed in 1991, Belarus functioned briefly as a democracy before the election of Alexander Lukashenko in 1994, who proceeded to establish a dictatorship that has been in place ever since. During both of these periods, this was the flag that the Belarusians used, and like many nostalgic flags from a country's supposed good old days, it has now become a popular symbol of dissent with the current regime. All right, now traditionally, I like to end these videos by turning the tables and seeing how fast you guys are able to crowdsource the answer to a flag mystery that I have been unable to solve. And I think we got a good one from my friend Riley. He submits this photo and says, "One of my hobbies is buying World War II photographs and war letters in bulk and trying to identify them. I came into possession of this photo of a German Navy mess hall dated 1940 on the back. The flag on the left is pretty easy to tell, but I have been stumped by the one on the right. I first, and still, assumed it is a municipal German flag of a city that the sailors came from, as the skeleton key with the square end is in a number of German city flags, but I've gone through databases of municipal German flags with no luck. As it seems there are a number of other flags against the right wall, the other possibility is that this is part of a collection of war prize flags collected by the crew on the Kriegsmarine conquests in the Spanish Civil War, invasion of France, or occupation of the Baltic Sea. I posted this in the World War II subreddit about a year ago, but got no results. I too had a hard time with this one, so let me put it to you. What is Riley's mystery flag? I know I have a lot of Germans in my audience, so I'm keen to see how quickly you guys can crack this one. Usually it only takes like 5 minutes, so if you're watching this video more than 5 minutes after I posted it, you may as well just scroll down to the comments right now and see what it is. Anyway, if you have a flag mystery that you would like to see me solve, do not hesitate to email me. I get a lot of these emails and I cannot promise to solve everyone's mysteries, but whatever mysteries I do solve, I'm happy to be solving them with you. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to check out Blinkist, and I will see you next week.